my name is Tobias. I'm the Coin Dad. I'm the curator of the world's largest Bitcoin mining museum. And here we are at Mining Disrupt 2023 down in Miami. And I'm about to show you guys some of the coolest stuff that I have over here that I love personally.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is 2013, right? So 600 gigahash was a big deal because it was stronger than the S1, right? And at the power supply at 792, the efficiency was great. They came out with the Neptune, which was a smaller unit in a box, which we have signed off by the owner. It's going to the Satoshi Action Fund for auction, but you know, you can see it's a clean, simple setup. They're using really high quality Arctic fan coolers, so your practicality and overclocking was really limitless on how you handled this thing. It was a really beautiful unit.
Back in 2017, I ran across a documentary called Banking on Bitcoin. That's basically what started bringing me down the rabbit hole. But then it was not really until my cousin Tim from Atlanta let me know that he was involved in the Bitcoin mining. And that's when he ended up shipping me S9 machines when they first came out. And I started pissing my wife off with all the noise.
Come right here, babe. I've been doing this for 6-7 years now, and you're always there behind the scenes. Now in 2023 at Disrupt, I gotta put you on camera. But thank you for being there for me and supporting me. From the first miner to all this, it's kind of crazy. To be honest with you, kind of hard to believe that we made it this far already. Such a short time.
I'm a long way and I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Me and them out.
Deuces. You'll never see her again for another 6 years now.
And then my cousin was basically the one to help me over the phone and through Zoom calls and stuff about how to deal with the machines, how to go through the UI on it, how to set up your pool, how to set up the Bitcoin wallet and all that. Took one apart. I learned how to repair them from the inside. And that's basically how I got started with Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. This is kind of a small historic moment here for the Bitcoin Mining Museum. Just got the first edition of the first Bitcoin Mining magazine. And inside the Bitcoin Mining Museum has a 4-page spread. Just wanted to share that with you guys. I think that's pretty cool. Shouts out to the Disrupt family allowing us to get in here and display what we got going on, saving the history of Bitcoin. Well, obviously, Mining Disrupt, the first word is about mining. A lot of the conferences are Bitcoin conferences. This one is mining specific, and I love the founders of the conference of how they communicate and how they're open with everything and transparent. And I've been to every conference for Mining Disrupt since the first year. I look forward to it every year, coming down here. So shout out to Gabriel and Michael. I appreciate you for bringing the Bitcoin Mining Museum out here. But this is going to be in the museum with all of our miners, showcasing at all the future conferences. And I wanted to ask Michael to sign it for us, since he's the one that made it.
This is kind of a project of passion for me. The Bitcoin mining industry doesn't have a publication that comes out regularly. So this first inaugural edition would be, like the Coin Dad said, a collector's item. I'll be more than honored to sign it. We're super honored to have the Bitcoin Mining Museum for the second year.
Look at that right now.
Yeah.
Turn the camera around. I think 20 years from now we'll be looking back at this and saying, hey man, remember that moment? Absolutely. Thank you. The hardest part about running the museum is some of the stuff that gets brought to the museum from people that are donating their old rigs just sitting around in the shed or a basement. They come with 10 years worth of crap in them, spiders and dust and everything else. So I literally take time taking them apart and put them back together to have them showroom ready.
This was the dorm room special. So college kids bought this. You put this in your window on these metal dividers. You set your window right down on it. And what you had was a space heater. People would put these in all their windowsills, mine the free Bitcoin because they had free power at college, and then they're using it. Now they were still expensive units for what they were, but again, from a practicality standpoint, you could justify what you're spending on it. And if wintertime's here, what do you do when summertime was? They literally just would go, now it spits the hot air out, you know, so that's how they handled it during the seasons. And you can see the lines here. It's just a very, very, very long set of ASIC boards. Yep, see how long they are? They're massive. So really cool unit. One of my favorite pieces to talk about. You know, finally getting into what I would call an innovative product.
So what gave me the idea for Bitcoin Mining Museum? I didn't plan on it. You know, the shop that I had in North Carolina, I'm helping to refurbish clients' machines. I'm doing some basic repairs, and market crash happened in 2018. And then some clients just left their stuff in the shop. They were collecting dust on the shelf. And then one day I'm just sitting there realizing that I had like a dozen different models. I ended up cleaning them up and going on eBay and finding more and collecting like 20 to 30 different models on my own just for fun. And then I started talking to OGs and finding out that there's a lot of cloudiness from the early days. So that's what kind of motivated me to say, you know what, it's difficult for me to find certain pieces of information on the internet when I'm going through Google search, that I had to call OGs and interview them and ask questions about certain stuff. And I'm like, why should I keep all this to myself? So I started BitcoinMiningMuseum.com as a place to not just show my collection of all the miners. Like right here, we're at Mining Disrupt right now showing all these. It took 3 years for me to collect all this stuff, but why show just the collection when I can also collect the information and data from these OGs from back in the day?
I mean, I was mining Bitcoin on my laptop. 2011.
So between you and Ian, y'all discussed CPU era. I want to know which one of you OG knows this. What does CG miner stand for?
I don't mutter that word.
C stands for CPU, G stands for GPU. So it came up with CG miner before ASIC.
We're getting ready for the next panel, though. We're going to have a bunch of OGs up here. We got to hear from some of the people that have been in this space for a very, very, very long time. Make sure you go over to the corner. Don't go yet. You got to wait for these guys to speak. We go over to the corner, check out the Bitcoin Mining Museum. If I ever have an opportunity to, one of the things that I will lobby for like just for fun, like it won't be a law or anything, is to get the Bitcoin Mining Museum into the Smithsonian. If you haven't checked out what the Coin Dad has built, it's incredible.
All right, my name's Tobias. They call me the Coin Dad. I'm the curator and founder of the Bitcoin Mining Museum. But yeah, I also want to put a panel together and kind of get it on video for some of these OGs to tell their own stories. And that's why we're here right now.
FriedCat is kind of like a Vitalik Buterin from China that came to Harvard here in the US 2011 or 12, and he read the white paper while he was at Harvard and quit and went back home to China because he figured out the white paper that quickly and started inventing an ASIC chip. He's supposedly gone today, disappeared since 2015 with 140,000 Bitcoin.
Okay, so I gotta be careful what we record about FriedCat.
Okay,
Okay, so
I'm getting a lot of that. BitFountain was FriedCat's company, and he had two of them, ASIC Miner and BitFountain. I think BitFountain was the one that purchased the chips, and then ASIC Miner was the one that made the hardware. Are you looking for similarities between his work and the Avalon 1 chips?
Well, the things that would really stick out would be one, aluminum PCB,
Okay.
and the other would be the spacing of the chips on the board.
Some of my top rigs in this museum that I personally love, stuff like right here, you got the Avalon 1. This is the first official ASIC miner to ever hit the market back in January 2013. This one right here was in this documentary called The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. This miner was actually in the film, and it was Daniel M. Ross that donated it to the museum. He even autographed it for us. But this is a very rare machine. I think they only made about 300 of them back then, give or take. And it's very hard to find the silver one, let alone also the black one. So I believe that we're the only people that own both the black and the silver at the same time. And we're showcasing it here for the first time at Mining Disrupt ever. Like, I'm excited about this because this is my first time showing both.
But now my favorite unit, show this to you because I'm allowed to touch it as the historian. This is the Monarch. So what this is a liquid cooled graphics card design. And what you'll see is down here on the south end, you'll see your PCI Express slot right here. You see that little guy right there? So this was meant that you could still plug it into a board, take this fan and remote use it in any mid-ATX case. Now, you can get this beautiful contraption, which you could buy for it, and you plug it into your PCI power support. It's just like a 12-volt rail power supply, standard ATX power supply, and that's how you ship it. It's a really cool unit. I think it's just very well made. It's a beautiful unit, but what happens is the FBI takes over because they never shipped a single one. So one of the more interesting Butterfly Labs pieces here is the Monarch, because everyone asks, how did you get that? Well, we got lucky. And of course, we have one of their jalapenos. This is probably one of their more well-distributed units, because everybody did buy these, and Adam Back signed this for us, who is one of the only people named in the Satoshi white paper.
How I acquire some of the miners over time? Well, first it was literally just eBay. Then it went to other platforms overseas. Then it went to going to conferences and meeting some people that are into mining from the old days, and they told me that they have stuff. Then after I interview them and talk to them, they let me know, well, hit this guy up on Telegram or hit this guy up on Twitter, people that I don't know that I got introduced to. And then basically the network grew with the OGs in the space from 2010 to 2015. You know, I was blessed to basically have some people say, hey, I still got this sitting in my shed. Oh, I still got this sitting in the garage, or I still got this sitting in the basement. One guy had something in the attic.
We got a gift for you. Taylor, why does it look like a pharaoh or some crap?
Bow down to this. Okay, so this was designed in 2017. I worked for a company called TMG Core. We focused on two-phase immersion at the time. So this is a miner that we built in connection with Canaan. So this is for a specific, if you don't mind holding this, for a specific type of immersion. So instead of single-phase oil, this is made for two-phase immersion. So these were slotted into a rack very close together, and basically allowed to increase the density, decrease total fluid cost.
It never made it to market.
Yeah, so we're the only people that ever deployed this, from my understanding. We worked with an awesome guy named Steve Mosier, who I don't think is with Canaan anymore. But yeah, we deployed about 10 megawatts of this in Dallas, Texas, probably the second biggest two-phase immersion in history. I'm glad we can donate this to the museum and have a little bit of immersion history.
So basically there's no others out there floating around, this is it?
Very, very few. I would be hard-pressed if you find even 50 of these anywhere else, yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. That's awesome. All right, got a new add-on to the museum. Avalon 841 Immersion.
Some of the things that I'm looking forward to for this Bitcoin mining museum in the future is hopefully more sponsorships. I would like to scale it. I mean, it takes a lot to find more stuff and add it and then build out the website, and especially going to conferences. Right here we have David, who is our security, head of security. So like I have armed security at night, I have armed security while I'm traveling. To move rare stuff around the country, you gotta pack them right and you gotta do everything perfectly from point A to point B and back again. And more conferences are maybe interested in showing the backbone of Bitcoin mining at the conference. Because if it wasn't for any of this stuff right here, none of you guys in the Bitcoin space would have a job. This is literally the backbone and the DNA of everything that we have when it comes to all of our jobs in the Bitcoin community. Thank you very much for checking us out over here on Mining Disrupt this year in 2023 and coming to see the Mining Museum. So hopefully you get to see us physically next year, and keep checking our website for future events. Later guys, peace.